Arike, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Just first and foremost, how are you doing in this world that we live in right now where the thing that you want to do, you cannot do?
Thanks for having me, and I'm struggling. It's definitely tough. I just got back from Turkey, actually, 2 days ago, so I've been up, but stuck in the house, so it's definitely rough.
By the way, how was that, coming back from a foreign country back into the United States?
Honestly, with everything going on with the coronavirus, it's better in Turkey right now. I was able to go to the gym when I want. The grocery stores had toilet paper. They had food. They had paper towels. So it was definitely a lot different, but I'm sure it'll get worse there. But I was living the life pretty much there, so I came back here.
And so you've seen the changes back here now, but you've seen how different it is across the world. So now as we look towards the Olympics that are in July right now, the discussions are starting to take place. What are your feelings on that as someone who's been a part of USA Basketball and Team USA on what should happen with the games upcoming?
I mean, just honestly, with everything canceling from March Madness to even smaller tournaments than that, I don't understand how they are going to have the Olympics, which is the biggest sporting event in the whole world. So it's definitely, I mean, they haven't canceled it yet, so I'm not sure what they'll do. Maybe they postpone it, but I just don't see it happening at the time it's supposed to with everything going on.
And Arike, just from your perspective as an athlete who is sort of training on potentially getting there and doing this in July, let's say, okay, we're going to move it to, for lack of a better month, November. Let's just say they pick November. Mm-hmm. How much does that change your world and your ability to do that, knowing everything else that you have going on in your sporting life?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's put off time for that month in the Olympics, and that was perfectly placed in the schedule. But now I'm sure WNBA will get postponed or do whatever. And, I mean, a lot of WNBA players and people who will be in the Olympics play overseas too, so they have to work with those contracts, change those contracts. Like, it's a lot is going to happen, so I'm really not even sure what that's going to bring.
Arike, if you're on the Olympic team and whenever they decide to have the Olympics, are you going no matter what, no matter if it's July 24th, November, or next year? I mean, are you set as an athlete and saying, I am going to go to the Olympics?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is something that I've always wanted to do, something that's been in my goals. And, you know, if I'm able to make the team, whenever the team takes place, whenever the Olympics takes place, I will for sure say yes. But whenever that comes, not sure.
Talking to Arike Ogunbowale with us again, star for the Dallas Wings, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish national champion on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. So just to be clear, even if it was in July with all the health concerns right now, you still feel it would be worth going over there because of what this means to you?
I mean, I'm sure USA Basketball will have something figured out. Maybe we'll go out on the court with some suits on. I don't know, but I trust them, so I guess we'll see what happens.
But that's sort of the discussion we're having, right? That's why I think it can't be up to the athletes. And we've been using the football parallel because obviously that's something that we're very familiar with. Once you're in that concussion protocol, they take your helmet away. They don't let you make the decision. Mm-hmm. So do you think that's why it should be because athletes will say, hell yeah, I want to compete, I want to go. Who do you think should be the ultimate decider here?
I mean, it has to be the health, really it has to come from the health people who know about the virus. Like, even people in charge of USA Basketball, they're not really professionals on what's going on, the pandemic and everything going on. So I think it has to be bigger than basketball and people higher up to really make the call, because leave it up to the athletes. I mean, we all want to work out right now. We all want to be in the gym. We all want to be playing basketball. So that's obviously why we're not charged of these decisions. So I think we have to, leave it to the people who really know what's going on.
You're right. It's outside of the scope of what we're used to as athletes, and really that's what we've been forced into because everything else is on hold. One of the upsides of that, though, is what goes on now. We've been replaying a bunch of old games. A lot of places have been doing this re-airing stuff, and I know I tweeted at you the other night, but they were replaying the Notre Dame national championship game from 2018 and the shot and everything else that went into that, and I'm sure you saw part of it, had people like me tweeting it at you. What's it like to relive a moment like that, something that was such a huge spectacle at the time, and certainly you at the center of it?
Yeah, I mean, watching it, I felt like I didn't even know what was going to happen. Like, I felt all the same feelings, the same butterflies. Like, when the time was going down, everything that was going on, like, I felt every emotion again. I think that was fun to be able to do, and especially with social media, I was able to tweet with my teammates and other fans and people watching it and sharing the same experience. So it was fun. It was a little happiness in this time of not being able to go to the gym.
I'm always curious because I saw Bill Self tweeting about a game that he was watching a rear of. Do you remember the things that were said, whether it was in like the huddles leading up to that or amongst your teammates before that shot and before those final moments?
Yeah, I mean, the semifinals, I know Coach she didn't have a play specifically. She was just like, try to get the ball, and that's what we did. But in the championship game, we had a play to go into our post player because the tall girl from Mississippi State, she fouled out, but they read that. So then I had to figure out how to go get the ball, and I guess it just happened. But really, even though there was plays being called, I think everybody on the court, we were just kind of in a trance. We really didn't know what was going on until we stepped on the court.
So when shooters shoot, listen, we know you guys shoot. We know you guys shoot time and time again. For either one of those shots, both those shots, or maybe neither one, at what point did you know they were going in?
When it went in. I mean,
oh, really?
I have confidence in myself. So when I shoot the ball, I always have faith in myself. But, like, this is also, like, semifinals and national championship, 2 biggest games of the season. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Like, it really didn't sink in until a couple weeks later. Like, right after the national championship, right after all of that, I was kind of just numb. Like, everything that was going on, the life was going on, but I still wasn't really believing what was going on.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you said, the ball's in the air and you're like, oh, this has a chance. This is online.
She called game.
You called game, started running to the bench or something. Yeah.
No, exactly. Like the first one, that was more of a regular shot. Like it was a move in the shot. But the second one, I was like, even after winning, I was like, I know that didn't just happen again. Like I must have stepped out of bounds. It didn't count or something. Like I was like, I know this did not count.
Oh, unbelievable.
Well, it did.
Well, thank God it did.
Yes.
We were all able to celebrate. Like you said, in these uncertain times, getting to relive that moment was awesome.